Hey guys, it's me, Stacy. I'm reading Healing the Child Within. Sorry it's getting dark. I'm going to try and read this short chapter before it gets dark. Chapter 10, Identifying and Experiencing Our Feelings. Becoming aware of our feelings and constructively dealing with them is crucial in the process of healing our child within. People who grew up in troubled or dysfunctional families don't tend to get their needs met. Not getting our needs met hurts. We feel the painful feelings. Since the parents and other members of such families tend themselves to be unable to listen to us, to support us, and to nurture, accept, and respect us, we often have no one with whom we can share our feelings. The emotional pain hurts so much that we defend against them by various unhealthy ego defenses, described in Chapter 8, thus shutting the feelings out, away from our awareness. Doing so allows us to survive, although at a price. We become progressively numb, out of touch, false. When we are thus not our real self, we do not grow mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Not only do we feel stifled and unalive, but we also often feel frustrated and confused. We are in victim stance. We are unaware of our total self, and we feel as though others, the system, and the world are doing it to us, as if we are their victim, at their mercy. A way out of the victim stance and its pain is to begin to identify and experience our feelings. An effective way to facilitate knowing and experiencing our feelings is to talk about them with safe and supportive people, like me. Bill was 36 years old, successful at work, but not in the intimate relationship he wanted. In group therapy one day he said, "I hated my feelings and being always asked to talk about them here. After 2 years in the group, I'm beginning to see how important they are, and I'm even beginning to enjoy them, even though some are painful. Basically, I feel more alive when I feel my feelings." There is no need for us to know everything about our feelings. All we need to know is the feelings are important, that each have all of them, that we each have all of them, and that it's healthy to begin to know them and to talk about them. Our feelings can be our friends. Properly handled, they will not betray us. We will not lose control be overwhelmed or engulfed as we may fear. Our feelings are the way we perceive ourselves. They are our reaction to the world around us, the way we sense being alive. Without awareness of our feelings, we have no real awareness of life. They summarize our experience, and tell us if we feels good or bad. Feelings are our most helpful link in our relationship with ourselves, others, and the world around us. It's getting darker, sorry. The spectrum of feelings. We have two basic kinds of feelings or emotions, joyful and painful. I'm going to continue to read this inside because it's getting really dark now. Okay, I'm continuing to read Healing the Child Within. So I'm going on where I left off here. Okay, the spectrum of feelings. We have two basic kinds of feelings or emotions, joyful and painful. Joyful feelings make us feel a sense of strength, well-being, and completion. Painful feelings interfere with our sense of well-being, use up our energy, and can leave us feeling drained, empty, and alone. Yet, even though they may be painful, they are often telling us something, a message to ourselves that something important may be happening, something that needs our attention, that may need our attention. Being aware of our feelings and feeling them in a natural flow as they occur spontaneously from minute to minute, day to day, gives us several advantages. Our feelings can both warn us and assure us. They act as indicators or gauges of how we are doing at the moment and over a stretch of time. They give us a sense of mastery and aliveness. Our real self feels both joy and pain, and it expresses and shares them with appropriate others. However, our false self tends to push us to feel mostly painful feelings and to withhold and not share them. For simplicity, we can describe these joyful and painful feelings across the spectrum, starting with the most joyous, going through the most painful, and ending with confusion and numbness as follows. So the real self feels everything: unconditional love, bliss, joy, compassion and empathy, enthusiasm, contentment. And then the false self and the real self both feel fear, hurt, sadness, shame and guilt, anger, confusion, emptiness, and numbness. Viewing our feelings in this way, we see that our real and true self, our child within, is empowered with a wider range of possibilities than we might have believed. The maintenance and growth of our child within is associated with what psychotherapists and counselors call a strong ego or sense of self. Flexible and creative self that can roll with the punches of life. By contrast, the false self tends to be more limited, responding to mostly painful feelings or no feeling at all, numbness. Our false self tends to be associated with a weak ego or sense of self, a less flexible, self-centered, negative or egocentric, and more rigid one. Originally, Freud and his followers used ego to mean what we now understand as being both our true self and false self. But since about 1940, object relations and self-psychologists have differentiated these and generally do not use the term ego. Today, more people equate ego with the false self. To cover up the pain, we use relatively unhealthy defenses against pain, which give us fewer possibilities and choices in our lives. Levels of awareness about feelings. In order to survive, a person who grew up in or is presently living in a troubled environment tends to be limited to feeling our martyrdom of their false self. As we begin to explore and become more aware of our feelings, we discover we can have 4 different levels of awareness about them. Number 1, closed about our feelings. When we cannot feel a feeling, we are closed in our ability to accurately name and use it. At that stage, not only do we not know the feeling, but also we are unable to understand and communicate the condition of our true self. While we may be talking superficially or even reporting facts, our interpersonal interaction and our ability to experience life and to grow is very low. We can call this stage of growing and sharing our feelings closed, or level 1. Number 2, beginning to explore. At level 2, we can begin to explore our feelings. Here we may be guarded in sharing our newly found feelings, and they may come out in conversation, disguised as ideas and opinions rather than feelings. At this level, interactions with others and our ability to experience life and grow remains low, but is greater than we were in level 1. While most people have feelings and would often like to express them, most people do not do so, and thus their lives live in low awareness and sharing of their feelings, limited to functioning in levels 1 and 2. This limited use of feelings is what the false self is accustomed to. 3. Exploring and experiencing. As we begin to know our true self, we begin to explore and to experience our feelings at a deeper or gut level. Here we are able to tell others feelings come up for us and how we really feel. By doing so, we can have much interpersonal interaction with people who are important to us and can experience our life more. We thereby grow mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. When we reach this more efficient 3rd level of our feelings, we know ourselves better and are able to experience intimacy with another. 4. Sharing our feelings. However, sharing our feelings with another is like a 2-edged sword. First, we may share them with someone who does not want to listen. They may themselves be functioning at levels 1 or 2, and are incapable of listening. Or they may appear to be listening, but are preoccupied with their own agenda, which is entirely different from ours. or even more painful results could happen. We could share with someone who is not safe and supportive, and we may be rejected for sharing, and we may even feel betrayed. The difficulty in sharing feelings is shown in the following recovery history. Ken was a 34-year-old successful salesman who grew up in a family where his father and brothers were actively alcoholic and his mother was co-alcoholic. In his therapy group, he spoke of how he had recently set limits on his brothers attending a birthday celebration at Ken's house by asking his brother not to drink or use drugs at the occasion. When asked about how he felt about his brothers potentially disrupting the party, since that was the pattern in the past, he told the group that he felt fine about it. The group members asked him how he really felt, and again he said, "Well, fine, but I told you this today to get your feedback." The group continued to ask him how he really felt. Gradually, he realized that he had been blocking and suppressing feelings of fear, anger, frustration, and confusion, and he told that to the group. Ken told advantage of being in therapy group by using them as a mirror and asking them for their feedback. He had been in the group for 3 months at the time and was beginning to trust the group as safe and supportive place and a resource in which he could air his concerns and confusions. He used the group to help him to discover an important part of his true self, his feelings. When we share our feelings, it is most appropriate to do so with safe and supportive people. Early in recovery, people who grew up in troubled or dysfunctional families may want to much share that they get rejected, betrayed, or otherwise get in trouble by telling others indiscriminately about their feelings. They may find it difficult to learn that it is not appropriate to share feelings with everyone. Share, check, share, and safe/unsafe people. How do we decide who is safe and who is not? One way is by the technique of share, check, share. When we have a feeling that we want to share but perhaps aren't sure of who is safe and who is not, we can share just a bit of our feelings with selected people. Then we check their response. If they don't seem to listen, or if they try to judge us, or if they immediately try to give us advice, we may not wish to share any more feelings with them. If they try to invalidate our feelings, or they reject us, and certainly if they betray us by talking about us, and especially our confidences, they are probably not safe to continue sharing with. However, if they listen, are supportive, and do not react with the above responses, then it may be safe to continue sharing with them. Further clues for safe people are those who make eye contact with us, tend to appear sympathetic, and don't try to rush in and change us, or our situation or our feelings. Over the long term, someone who is safe will be consistent in listening and supporting and will not betray or reject us. Places to practice sharing and checking are in a therapy group, a self-help group, with a counselor, therapist, sponsor, or trusted friend or loved one. Spontaneous and observing. As we become more comfortable and able to trust our true self in others, we can begin selectively to disclose our feelings in a more complete way. As this kind of sharing continues and matures, we can observe our feelings more and more. Level 4. As we do so, we discover an empowering and healing principle. We are not our feelings. While our feelings are helpful and even crucial to our aliveness and our ability to know and enjoy ourselves and others, we can at the same time simply observe them. Here we are at harmony with our feelings. They do not overtake us or rule us. We are not the victim. This level with our feelings is advanced. Transforming our feelings. Each feeling has an opposite. As we become aware of each painful feeling and we experience each and then let go of it, we can transform them into joyful feelings. This allows us to experience the gratitude from transforming our pain into joy, or curse into our gift. Our feelings work in concert with our will and our intellect to help us live and grow. If we deny, distort, repress, or suppress them, we only block the flow to their natural conclusion. Blocked feelings can cause distress and illness. By contrast, when we are aware of our experience and share, accept, and then let go of our feelings, We tend to be healthier and more able to experience the serenity of inner peace that is our natural condition. Taking time with our feelings is essential in our growth and happiness. The way out of painful feeling is through it. Table some of feelings and their opposites. Opposite of fear is hope. Anger, affection. Sadness, or I don't think this is in, could be sadness, joy. Hate, love. Loneliness, community. Hurt, relief. Boredom, involvement. Frustration, contentment. Inferiority, equality. Suspicion, trust. These are opposites that you can switch your feelings. Repulsion, attraction. Shyness, curiosity. Confusion, clarity. Rejection, support. Unfulfillment, satisfaction. Weakness, strength. Guilt, innocence. Shame, pride. Emptiness, contentment, and fulfillment. Okay. Fear, anger, and shame may be the most useless of our feelings. Our feelings are a vital part of a crucial dynamic in our growth. Here, our grieving. When we lose something important to us, we have to grieve to grow from it, which I describe in the next chapter. So chapter 11 I'll be reading next. It's the process of grieving. And I'll probably read that tomorrow, okay? Love you guys. You're good enough. And thanks for listening and watching. Bye from me and Precious and Charlie somewhere. Bye.